Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be looking at the third chapter of your second module, that is a network attached storage. The first, here in this one, we have been talking about the file sharing. As a name, file sharing is nothing but you are sharing the files, which is going to help the users in the various forms. It can be in terms of anything where the user is going to share the information. Now, if you check in the traditional methods, the way we used to share the files or the information or the data is either I used to copy the files into the floppy disk, or we used to copy it to the CDs or the DVDs or the USB drives. So, whenever we have to share this data, when the distance is very small, then it is very safe. But when it comes to the sharing of the information over the different geographic locations, then there is a problem in that one. For that purpose, they came up with the protocols such as network based file sharing, where you can share the files over the longer distances. There can be any types of the what you say the technologies, that can be your DAS, that is direct attached storage, or you can use the storage area network attached storage for the sharing of the files. But there was again some of the problem associated with both these technologies. One is there is something called as overutilized, and the another one is underutilized file servers. Overutilized means you are using often and often the servers, right? Or you are not utilizing those servers at all. So based on the geographic locations, the resources were not exactly utilized, means it was not up to the mark of the utilization. And also there were other factors that led to these sharing of the information is poor scalability. As I said, particular server having connected to the devices, it may increase the device or it may decrease the devices that is connected to it. But as the population is growing, the more number of the devices needed to be connected, but it was not supporting. And at that same time, the management cost, the maintenance cost is also increasing, and it is leading to the greater complexity. So these all were the factors that led to the evolution of the another what is it, the storage called as network attached storage, and it was able to overcome all these problems, right? So if you check in the next diagram, you can see that how your information is stored and how it has been stored in this current technology. Now you had a computer, you are been storing the data in a particular CD, then you had a multiple number of the clients attached to one single network. You had this file sharing system where you are having the servers and you have been transferring it to the storage arrays. Now, if you check in this diagram, we are using intermediate servers to what is that? Store the array. Again, store the information. That means here the clients have to access the server, and the servers in turn have to access these arrays for the retrieval of the data. But that one is been overcome in the network attached storage, where the client is directly connected to this storage system where he can access that one. Right now, we'll see the differences, how it is providing the better performance with the general purpose servers. Now if you check in this general purpose servers, which is you can check here, we have the application, we have print drivers, file system and different operating system, the network, and all this one is inbuilt in one particular server, right? All these together, the functionality, that means each and every server should have all these functionalities inbuilt. But if you just take one network attached device, that is the storage array, the what are the components it is been having is, it is having one file system, the operating system and the network, and also all the storage devices, Right, so that means whenever you want to store any information, there is no need for you to have a separate operating system. So this is the main difference when you consider from the general purpose servers to the network attached storage devices. All right, so you can check the differences where this whole one complete server is installed in this single function of the NAS device. Okay, now what are the benefits why we need to go with network attached storage, whereas we have already studied the fiber channel storage, and we have studied the direct attachment storage. Then what is this benefit been having? The first one is a comprehensive access to the information. The first one is comprehensive access to the information. It is going to support file sharing either to many to one or one to many, right? So it is easy to share the information. Second one, it is going to improve the efficiency. In efficiency, whenever I'm been saying that, I can make sure that based on the operating system, a special purpose operating system, I can install it and I can use that one, through which the efficiency is being increased. Then I'm having the improved flexibility. That means based upon the clients, based upon the operating system, I can use the network attached storage is providing the services. It can be from the different platforms also. Irrespective of the platforms, it is been providing the flexibility. The next one is centralized storage, where this is going to reduce the duplication of the data, right? And also it is providing the protection. Hope if you remember the duplication of the data where we are applying the RAID levels and all, so that is being minimized in this one. Then we have the simplified management. The next what is that benefit is simplified management, because as it is having a centralized console, so it is going to help to manage the file system efficiently. And in terms of the scalability, when I want to talk it, as we can what is that use the different profiles, or we can get connected to the different operating system irrespective of the platform. I can have more number of the devices connected, which is going to give me a high performance and also the low latency. And the next one is high availability, where it is going to provide the redundant components to the people whenever they are been requesting. Now then we have the security, this helping in user authentication, file locking, right? Whatever the industry standard it is been requesting, all those standards are being met by this network attached storage. And next one, it is what is that he mentions, it is a low cost, because it is using what is that ethernet components. Whatever the ethernet components are available, it is going to use it. And ease of deployment also. As we have come across the benefits of the NAS, now we'll be seeing what are the components of NAS, that is network attached storage. There are mainly two components. One is the NAS head and the second one is the storage. Now what does this NAS head includes? So it is going to include the CPU and the memory. It is including the NIC, that is network interface cards. Now when I am been saying the network interface cards, then obviously it is going to include the protocols to be supported in terms of the ethernet, that is gigabit ethernet, fast ethernet, ATM, and fiber distributed data interface. So these all networks or the protocols is being supported by this one. And then we are having the optimized operating system, so that it is going to help in terms of translation of the file level request into the block storage request. And it is also using the other protocols such as NFS, that is a network file system, and another one is common internet file system, right? So this is providing the protocols for the sharing of the information. Now you can see that we have the two clients with the different operating system, that is Unix and the Windows. Whenever I'm using the Unix operating system, the client is using the Unix operating system, then the protocol that is used is NFS. And if the client is using the Windows operating system, then it is using the CIFS protocol. right? Using the Ethernet, we have here NSA head, which NSA head is including the network interface cards, the protocols installed within this one. So to identify that from which particular operating system the files have been coming, so that it can decrypt it, and which are the devices connected to this NAS, and what is the operating system and the storage interface. So that is all been included in this NAS head. And please remember, this is again all the programming, right? Now how this programming is being done is, you people have might studied automata theory, where each and every state you are going to define what is the input and what will be the next state. The same way, those all automata theory is being used in the what is that, the programming of these networking devices. Okay, the next one we are going to come across how this NAS operation is being performed. All right, now you can check that as the client is having the OSI model, the application layer from where the data is being taken up, right? Using the various protocols, it can be your HTTP, it can be your FTP, SNMTP, whatever the protocols been available, that is been proceeded down to the operating system. And what is the request being there, it is going to check. And now based on this operating system, whether NFS or CIFS protocols have to be applied, right, based on the client using the operating system, either it is Unix based operating system or it is your Microsoft or the Windows operating system. So with the help of the TCP and IP stack and the network interface, the first data is being sent. That means the first client IO request is being sent. Once it is being sent, then the NSA device, that is network attached storage device, is going to apply the same application but in the reverse order. You can check the network interface from which the request is being received. Again, TCP stack, where it is going to decapsulate all the frames, going to check whether it is from the NFS or the CIFS protocol, what is the operating system network protocol. From the storage interface, it is going to send the request to the storage array to get the device. As you people remember that in the storage array, the data is stored in terms of the block, right? So that block data is again sent back from the storage array to the NSA device, and then again it is being transferred to the client in terms of the file using this IP network, right? So this is how the operation for the network attached storage devices takes place. Based on the client operating system, it is going to decide that which protocol is being there and how it has to be what is that, transferred. IO request, the file IO request is converted to block level, and from the block level again it is converted back to the file IO what is that, response, right? Then moving on, next one, as I said that we are using the two types of the protocols, right? Now what are those protocols being used? That means to understand that communication to takes place between the client and the storage array, we need one common language, the rules and the regulations. So that is the protocol we have been having. The first one is the network file system, that is short called as NFS. So it is a client server protocol, especially used for the sharing of the files, and it is used on the Unix systems, right? Hope in your college you are been having the Unix based systems, the computers, right, over which the what is the protocol being used whenever you share the information or you are sharing the files is your NFS, right? And whenever it has been transferring the information, then it is using connectionless user datagram protocol, right? If you remember in the TCP IP protocol and UDP protocol, so here you are using the UDP protocol, and remember it is a connectionless. So when I say connectionless, then obviously there is a loss of the data also, right? The next one we are so whenever I said there is a communication, then what is the procedure it is going to use? So it is going to use a remote procedure call as a method for the inter-process communication between the two computers. So using RPCs, it is using the commands and it is transferring the information. Then what are the operations this NFS is providing? So it is helping in searching the files and the directories, helping in to open the files, read the files, write the files, and also close the files. And if in case you want to change the attributes of the file, for example, you have a read, only read attribute is being provided, you can change it to as a read and write. You can make the file as private, you can make the file as public, right? You can make it as protected, and you can give it as read, write, and execute, so that the attributes can be provided to everyone. And also you are able to modify the file links and the directories. That means you can transfer the file from one directory to the another directory. This NFS is also said to be as stateless protocol. Stateless protocol, what does this mean? That means it is not going to maintain any table where usually the file systems are going to have the table. Suppose if I have to say that usually when I am having this table system, I will be maintaining the file numbers, what is the previous operation, right? So I'll be having the pointers to this file. This is all not being maintained at all in the stateless protocol. Then what happens not having? Yeah, this is one way benefit, but what happens is whatever you have done the operations, these all operations cannot be retrieved back. Okay, so you are not going to get that what were your previous files being opened, so what was the transaction being taking place, so that will all be broken, and again you have to restart all the operation from the beginning. No data will be saved in your stateless protocol, right? And the what are the versions available? So you are having totally now three versions, that is NFS version 2. What are the features available with that one is it is helping in locking, where you can lock the files, you can protect the file, so that you can save from the changing the attributes of the file. The version 3, which is built over the version 2, which is providing the 64-bit file size, and it is also providing asynchronous writes also. And version 4, which is providing you the enhanced security. Hope everyone remembers how much the security is important whenever you are transferring the information, right? So moving on to the next protocol. The next protocol is Common Internet File System, in short called as CIFS. Right. So, what are the functionalities being provided? So, as usual, it is your client server application protocol. It is going to enable the client program to share the files and all using the TCP, right? And it is public, open, and variation of this one is done through the server message block, and it is going to help the file sharing with the other clients by locking those files, and it is a stateful protocol. Please remember, he mentions here it as a stateful protocol. That means here a table is being maintained on what operations you have been performing, right? So that means where your file, which file you have been previously opened, what operation you are doing. In case you have not saved the files, then you are able to recover those files. So if you are very well aware, you people are using a laptop in which you are using the Microsoft operating system, that's a Windows operating system, and in case your systems fail in between, right, you have not saved any data, or even the what is that the browsers, whatever you have been open, you have just shut down, right? But once you reboot the system, you can check that all the operations will be resumed, so that you can save all the files, the browsers that you are able to restore those all those sessions. That is only with the help of your stateful protocol. All right, so this is the advantage of having the CIFS protocol in the network attached storage, and commonly used in your Microsoft operating systems. And whenever you are using these files, so the file names are being given using your Unicode characters. Hope if you remember, whenever you try to open the Microsoft documents and all, sometimes it will be the Unicode character, right? If you have been observed, please do observe all these things. And what are the features being provided? Especially it is helping to provide the data integrity. Integrity is make sure that any overwriting is taking place, don't allow any other user until and unless the complete writing of the document is being done, right? And it is also fault tolerant, and it is able to restore the connections. If any what do you say, the interruption is been taking place, then you are able to regain all those files you have been lost, right? And moving on to the next one, you can check that what are the different implementations being carried out in the what is that network attached storage. We have totally the three types. The first one is the unified NAS, right? Or I can say unified NAS connectivity also. Now you can check in this particular block diagram, we have been having the fiber channel host. We are using this internet, a small computer system interfaced host, and the NAS clients also, right? We NAS clients are using the Ethernet. Fiber channel host are using the fiber channel SAN, where the data transfer is in terms of the blocks, but in NAS the transfer of the data is in terms of the files, and using the various ports the data is being transferred. As you remember, the components of the storage area network, as I had already said, that we are having the controllers. We have the front end controllers and also we have the back end controllers. So, using these controllers, we are trying to transfer the information. Now, you can check here the controllers will be installed based on the particular controller, and it is converting that information and then transferring to the particular host based on the technology being installed, right? Then moving on to the next one is the gateway. The gateway NAS and the what is that, it's a connectivity. In this gateway, what we are trying to do is we are using some external storage, so that we are able to retrieve the data and also to store that data, so that the administration is done at a what you say, at a very easy point. You can check here the clients, as they are being transferring the information or accessing the information using the IP network. Yeah, they are using the IP network, having the different application server. You can check here we have NAS gateway. Here these application servers are directly connected to FCSAN, so the information is directly stored in the storage array. But when we have this NAS gateway, please remember, when I say NAS gateway, then we are having two different protocols. One is either NFS protocol, or the second one is CIFS protocol. So that data has to be converted, so that that particular data is being read by this FC SAN, that is fiber channel SAN. Or I can say that the information that is coming from the gateway has to be encapsulated in such a way that it is being read by the fiber channel SAN, and it is being stored. When it is being storing in this one, please remember, as it is a fiber channel SAN, it is being stored using this particular protocol in the storage array. And in case if any client is been asking and the data is being transferred using NSA gateway, then it has to be what do you say, converted, so into this user readable information. That means the decapsulation of the information takes place, and then it is being transferred to this NSA gateway. All right, so this is another way of the implementation of your network attached storage. Please remember, these all types of the implementations are being taking place in the organization. For us it is not visible, right? But whenever they have to what you say, the transfer of the information to be taken place, especially in your Amazon services, the Wipros and the Intel technologies, because huge information have to be what you say, shared from one office to the another office based on the geographical locations. So for that purpose they are using these implementations. And the last one is the scale out NAS and the connectivity. In this one you can check that they are forming a cluster through which the information is being shared. That is the external switch we have node 1, node 2 and node 3, and we are using this InfiniBand for the transfer of the data, right? So through which we are been connecting all the devices. And please remember, in this scale out NAS, the best advantage is what has been there. In case I try to connect the devices to this one, right? So in case I'm trying to have all the devices connected to this one, what it does is, having the storage, it is going to distribute the data to all these servers, right? And when the point comes to the storage array, all these are been acting and the data is divided in terms of the chunks, and finally the data is being stored in this storage array, right? So the data will be divided in the chunks, all will be performing in parallel, and the data is being stored at a very faster rate. If in case any one person or any one client requests the data, then all together will come into the picture. They take the data from this storage array, again divide it across these all the nodes, all the switches, and make sure the availability of the data is at the faster rate. So this scale out NAS is proved to be most efficient and able to utilize all the resources, right, very efficiently. And these all are being what you can say, this scale out NAS, he tells that it is like theoretically I can say that, but still it is under the implementation, right? So this was all about the NAS.